Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of Rage Quit TV, gonna be casting a game between Liquid HayprO and Flash. It is a TVZ on Cloud Kingdom, and yes, this is the real Flash, the Brood War God. However, he is just pretty good at StarCraft 2, not living up to the expectation of instantly being the best. None of the Brood War players really do live up to the expectation. However, it is unfair to judge them just yet. This game was played on May 1st, 3 weeks ago. They are still just learning the game. Flash said it will take several months until you start seeing good games out of him. As Hotbid once said, it's like watching gorillas pillow fight, watching the two Brood War players play a game of StarCraft 2, meaning they're really strong, they have great mechanics, but they just don't have the best weapons. They don't make the best decisions. Like, why would gorillas want to use pillows to fight? It's just beyond me. So, very good thing there, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It's really cool to watch, and I think very, very beneficial for the scene. Not just because it's going to grow because Brood War fans are going to start watching StarCraft 2, but the Brood War players bring a unique play style into StarCraft 2, a unique tactics. Like, for instance, I've seen changelings used to just give vision around the map, not necessarily to scout a base. And I've also seen an Overseer used with mutas to go hunt observers to make the Protoss feel uneasy, which is just really cool. I've never really seen either of those, and all the time StarCraft 2 has been out, and I was kind of thinking that, StarCraft 2 is not going to change. A lot of the games start looking alike, but now the Brood War players are going to start playing it, start getting televised, and we will start seeing new things. And we do have HayprO going for that 15 hatch. Flash looks like he is going to go for a 15 command center. The last game we saw him was against Kawhi Rice, and he went for a 14 CC. It looks like maybe this game is a little bit newer. I don't know exactly when Kawhi Rice played. We can look at it after this game. As I did say, this one was May 1st. But he is going for that 15 CC. And we do have HayprO going for a 15 pool right after, not getting to the gas. This is May 1st, as I keep saying, so it isn't the Queen range buff patch, I don't think. I think Queens will still have a range of 3. But I still think HayprO is going to wait until around 45 supply to start getting gas because he hasn't taken it yet. Not going to really be able to put on any pressure against Flash. And has Flash gone out to scout yet? No, he hasn't, so we'll see exactly when Flash does scout. He should be scouting sometime soon. I would really be surprised if he does this double gas opener without scouting. This is kind of telling me it's cloaked Banshees. And that Overlord looks like he is moving slow, so yes, this is before the patch. But the Overlord is going to go into this position, so HayprO is going to have no idea whatsoever about these double gas. Since the patch, I've started seeing some Zerg players set an Overlord down here, and the other one kind of goes into this area, so they can go in if they ever need to check this gas timing. Just something I started seeing. Not saying we're going to see it every game. And Flash does end up scouting after either Supply Depot or Barracks. He is going to be getting into HayprO's base, and we'll see exactly what he ends up seeing. Those Lings are stopping. You can see Flash. Is the SCV going to get in? Yes, it looks like he is, but he goes on creep and doesn't make it to the gas. So that is a big bad thing for Flash. Not seeing this gas, so now Flash says, okay, HayprO, he can be aggressive. As we know, HayprO, he can't be aggressive because he doesn't have gas. Non-speedlings, not good. He can't get banelings. He can't get roaches. So he can't put on any aggression, but Flash doesn't know that. If he saw that no gas, then he may play a little bit more passive. Ling is going to come, see a reactor going on, so it looks like Flash is going to get Hellions out. And did that Ling also see the command center? No, he did not. Just out of reach. And it looks like Flash will be putting down a starport with this SCV. He's got the gas and money. There we go. The second this one factory does finish, does go for a starport, and with these Hellions, he's going to use no gas. So it looks like it is going to be cloaked Banshees out of Flash. And again, just because he got all this early gas, what's he going to be using it for? He could go for blue flame Hellions, but I think cloaked Banshees is much more of a common opener. We do have HayprO now getting 3 of his gases at 45 supply. Like I said, 45 supply is a big time for Zergs to get all the gas. Scan does go down by Flash. Sees this one gas. Does he scan the main? And this is something else I noticed of Flash play when he played Kawhi Rice. He didn't really use all that many mules. He used it mainly for scans, always seeing where the Omi was, seeing what the composition was. So we'll see if Flash does a lot of mules and whatnot after this game in SC2 Gears. Is not currently a mule out, but he did just literally use a scan. The supply depots do go down. The Hellions kill those Lings. Lings do not get in. This one Overlord is going to see the Hellions moving on out. Banshee is on the way. Cloak not being researched. We'll see if that does end up being started. Maybe he's waiting to see exactly what these Hellions end up seeing. 2 Queens do come out, fend off these 2 Hellions, and there we go. Cloak does end up starting. Not exactly sure what Flash just saw. Did he use a scan? No, he did not. And he is getting Marauders behind this, so maybe he has watched Polt play. Get me going for a Marauder Hellion opener. It is very strong against Zerg, especially Zerg's doing what HayprO is doing right now, which is building roaches. Marauders do so well against them, but Flash not getting stim yet, so maybe he won't be. You generally want to start your stim as soon as possible because you have to hit the Zerg player before like the 10-minute mark. If you don't, then you run the risk of mutas coming, and that is just absolutely horrible if the mutas do come out. The Banshee, waiting for a second Banshee it looks like, so he is going to be holding on until he sends those out. Doesn't want to send just one. If you send 2, you can do a lot more damage, especially when 2 have Cloak. Flash will be able to do a lot of damage against HayprO. If HayprO does not see this coming, he has not started his lair up. And there we go, the lair does start. But he doesn't have any Spore Crawlers. He has no idea something like this is coming. Keeping the Marauders in these bunkers, that's a little bit creative. This one Overlord, Knockman will see any units. Even if he came down to poke, I guess he wouldn't get shot, which would tell HayprO. But just seeing the bunker loaded, I don't know if he saw the Marauder right there or not, but does have defense, and actually did pull a handful of SCVs right now, just holding on. This is the time, I think, that Roach Baneling hit, so maybe Flash lost to this. And it was like, oh my god, that's not happening to me again. And just leaves a bunch of SCVs waiting here. Banshee does cloak. Oh, I was missing this Banshee. It did take some damage, actually, by these Queens sitting over here. Flash letting the Banshees take damage on their way over. That is uncharacteristic. And this one Spore Caller does finish, picks off one of those Banshees. And gonna get a few drones as well, but those Queens from HayprO could not have been in a better spot, picking the Banshee as they do move across the map. And the second Banshee gonna try to get a few kills. He is up to 7 worker kills. Haven't really got that many. These Banshees haven't paid for themselves, and the Queen is gonna be taking this out, and the Banshee's gotta get away. Flash, what are you doing? And there we go. The Banshee ends up pulling back. And Queens from HayprO just spreading this creep extremely quick. It is only 10 minutes and 30 seconds in the game, and that has reached the halfway mark. Going back to these Queens, yes, it is a range of 3. So Hellion's going to be coming in. Flash is going to use another scan and start taking out some of these tumors. Just stopping this creep spread, but HayprO has so many active tumors out on the map, it's not going to delay it all that much. And since Flash got Banshees, no, he swapped off. I was about to say, he may actually even get a Raven out. Because a lot of the reason Terran players don't like getting Ravens is because you got to get a tech lab on the starport, which is just a huge time sink. Of course, if you have the Banshees there, you don't have to put that there. But then again, you still have to worry about that 200 gas or so the Raven does cost, which is very expensive. And Flash doing a great job at keeping his minerals low, very good at managing all his economy. He is pulling back. I think I heard a scan. Yes, I did. And that scan does prompt Flash to move on back. So it looks like he may be going into more of a macro game. Is getting, no, he isn't getting siege mode. Is he? Nope, not getting siege mode just yet. And a few Bioforce going to stim, try to pick off those creep tumors. But Lings do come in. And Flash is going to try to kite this. But now we have Roaches coming in from the other side. Medvacs are going to have to pick up and get on out of there. Losing a handful of units. Now Roaches are coming. There is one tank here along with this Banshee and 2 bunkers, so I don't know if HayprO can break this. It is going to be close. Those Hellions are not being micro. There's tanks sitting off in the back. Now the drop is going to come. Tanks right now attacking Links, not going on these Roaches as of yet. HayprO will be now just pulling on back and taking a 4th base. Right now the supply is 110 to 126. Flash did just defend that, and he is going to be moving on out yet again. He has lost a little bit less than HayprO and will be trying to take out this Overlord on his way out. Will he go back and clean it up? Doesn't have to, because you can see HayprO 141 out of 152, so this may make a small difference. Not building another Overlord, which is a huge surprise, and looks like Flash just gave up on that Overlord. It's like, okay, well, that's not worth it. Maybe that's in a spot where Marines cannot hit it. But he is going to be moving on out and does have 2 tanks. Does have siege mode that is just now completing right when the tanks get in the position they want to be in. And Mevac lifting up 1 tank that may have been a misclick, or we'll see exactly what he ends up using that for. Tank is in the medevac. And we do have a Banshee, lone Banshee, going to go out and start picking off these Infestors. And this is such a good play, using that Banshee to kill these Infestors, because the Infestor isn't really cost efficient at killing a single Banshee. And HayprO has decided to go in now. And the Banshee does kill all those Infestors off, and it looks like Flash will be able to hold on. I don't know what happened to the tank that was in that medevac. 3 more Infestors are coming. Those Marines do have to back on off. They only have +1 attack upgrade, while HayprO is at 2-2, and this Banshee is going to keep on picking down those Infestors, just tugging them down. Tank is going to be falling, does not get up in siege, and HayprO is on the offensive now. This Infestor doesn't have any energy, but he has to run away from that one lone Banshee. Infestor does fall, and Flash does take that out. He does keep most of his medevacs alive, and these Lings are not going to do anything against these medevacs with Marines. When there's 1 medevac per Marine, Lings just do not do the thing. Even though those Lings are at 2-2 and the Marines are only at 1-0, we do have a greater spiral on the way, and Flash will be defending that. And with all these medevacs, he is going to need those Infestors out to get good fungals to kill all these Marines. He's going to need a few of them just because of this medevac count. Right now, HayprO doesn't have any anti-air to really kill those medevacs besides fungal growthing them. Or I guess Infested Terrans or Queens. Banshee is still cloaked, and will he move and do a little bit of scouting and pick off Infestors? It looks like yes, he will. Gonna keep on doing that, and this is Flash's answer to Infestors, just using a lone Banshee, picking them off, and now falling back just a little bit while his Banshee does the work. Fungal growth does go down with Infested Terrans. Keep in mind, that is around 150 energy. Another Infestor does fall before the Banshee, and this tank going down, not turning on those Infestors, would have done much more damage, but Flash does end up killing them all anyways. And they were out of energy, surprisingly, because they had to use all those Infested Terrans. So no need to kill those Infestors. That just paid for itself. That one Banshee from Flash was so effective against HayprO. But I hate to say it, it is 4 base to just 2 base of Flash. Flash is going to need to do damage right here. We do have a lot of medevacs healing his Marines. This is the damage he needs to do, but that Greater Spire has finished. We will have Brood Lords coming out very shortly. None out just yet. 3 Corruptors are on the way. And those Lings now going to be pulling on back. Tanks are going to go up in siege. And this 4th base will be falling. One Infestor immediately falls. And Flash no longer has that lone Banshee out because he did lose it to the Infested Terran and Phone Ghost. So we'll see if he ends up rebuilding that. He has a high enough medevac count where he doesn't need a starport right now, I guess. He will need to build Vikings to kill Brood Lords off. But if you, well, I guess an Overseer, yeah. I'll just cast the game and not theorycraft. That is how it generally does work. We will have plenty of Infestors here from HayprO, and Flash doesn't have the Banshee to pick them off, but he is going to siege his tanks, and will he do any force targeting? Yes, you can see him tugging down all those Infestors, putting the priority on them, but those Lings do run in and are going to clean up most of these Marines. Flash does GG right on now that as 5 Brood Lords are morphing. As we do see right there, so didn't really make the grand appearance, but that was a pretty cool game. As I did say again, it was a long time ago. Don't hate on Flash. Don't start any drama just because it's probably around the time when he first started playing. But as it was going on in the early stages of the game, it's really cool to see kind of strategies that you don't see that often. Like in this game, it was Flash using the Banshee to pick off Infestors. I just haven't really seen many people do that. Maybe I'm not watching the right games, but in all the games I've casted, this is one of the first times that a player's built Banshees or actually done a little bit of harassment, got a little bit unlucky with taking the damage of the Queens right here, but did damage, and then used them for those Infestors. Can you imagine how this game would have went if Flash didn't lose one of those Banshees to the Spore Crawler because it died in like one hit, due to the Queens being in the middle of the map, the place you would not expect them, and just poke at your Banshees? No, you wouldn't. So, if he kept those alive, he would have been much better at his Infestor hunting squad, and it kind of gives you value to keep your Banshees alive now. Instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to do as much harassment as I possibly can, and when they die, I don't really use them for anything else. They don't have good synergy with my other units. Well, they do. They have great synergy, killing off Infestors. But anyways, let's go into SC2 gears, and let's look at, I guess APM will be where we start. So, going on over, and I think this is like while Flash is well, he had surgery. I want to say 6 months ago, but it may have been a year. But yeah, I want to say that. I'm not positive. But 122 EAPM, HayprO at 112. Spamming APM is at 169. Not the fastest. He is a fairly efficient 28% redundancy, while HayprO is at 38%. But the thing I really want to look at right now is builds tech stat, and let's go to ability groups. He only used 8 mules that game. Well, that was a 19-minute game. But let's go to the units and switch over to builds tech. Will this tell me? Mule. Hey, that's just filtered. Oh, search text. I always do that. It's the third box. Mule. So, you can see right now Flash not really using the mules, not really using any of his macro mechanics, and that probably a mistake. I mean, look at this. The mules kind of just die out. His command centers are used. He has low energy them all. At the very end of the game, one has 100 energy, one has 50. But kind of prioritizes that scan. Again, once he gets better at the game, he's not going to scan as much because he's going to be able to see things and say, oh, this is what you're doing. I know how to defend. I don't need to scan to see constantly what you're doing. He can then use those mules, which gives him a lot more minerals. So there's well, not a mistake, but one of the things we won't see Flash be doing in a few months is not muling. So let's get rid of that filter. Let's go to his marine macro because this is generally insane. Well, I guess again it's 19 minutes. You can't draw too much of a conclusion from that. But I mean, there's absolutely zero. Well, there's a drop right here. What happened? He's probably doing something at 11:55. Maybe this is the time he pulled his SCVs around 9 minutes to deal with that Roach Bane possibility because he didn't see any gas. And that was also very smart play that I don't see people doing. He didn't see the gas. He doesn't know if HayprO is going to all in. So he pulls 9 SCVs, sits by the bunker while his Banshees move out. But anyways, going back into this, let's go. This was 12 minutes. So go at 11 minutes, and what are you doing? Because you are not building units for a little bit. And that was 12, so. No, it's just something I can't explain. He is building units. As you do see, this thing never does drop. So maybe it's because I zoomed in and that gap is just so small now, because that was a 4-time zoom. So let's see, what is this gap saying in SC2 gears? 11:55, 12:14. Yeah, this is only 20 seconds. So don't know exactly what that is. We went back in and see, everything is fine. So you do have those small things when you do zooms that look bad. But pretty good macro there. Let's go, hold on one thing. Just give me 1 minute to find a game. I'm just trying to find a good game. Let's see. Let's see, Tasia versus... Let's go for a long one. Tasia versus Heon would be fine. We'll be fine. That's on Frigid Pass. I don't want to do a map that they're not comfortable with. This should be a fine. Could not open replay? Okay. So now we do have a Tasia replay open as well. I just want to compare this. So the game ends for Flash. Was this 19 minutes? 1759. 1829. So that's actually a relatively good comparison game to use, just blindly. So, looking at this, we do have a few more gaps. And again, these are so small, it's not him not building a unit. It's a barracks out of one of his 6, I think, being idle or something. Something silly like that. But, just to give you an idea, this is really good. You can see all his Marines are even, timed out. And let's go back to Tasia. Tasia's Marines are timed out pretty well as well. So Tasia has pretty good macro. That's what I'm getting at. If I had a game of MVP handy, I'd show you that too. But let's get off of that. Unit tiers. Get rid of Marines. Nothing really special here. Resource collection. Maybe this will tell us a lot. Spending rate is what we can do. All in one shot. HayprO definitely has more. Ooh, pretty lines is basically what my mind is. But yeah, I think Flash just got out macroed. I think that's the gist of that game. Didn't get those upgrades, so that sucks. But I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Take care, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. This was a part of Team Liquid Weekly Replay number either 26 or 36. I want to say 36, but it may be 26. So if you open up that pack and you want to see any games in it, leave a comment on the video, and I will be casting it for you. So, yeah, take care. See you guys around.